smoothie bowl is not pretty, but does it taste okay?
It's absolutely tastes okay.
The mango, acai, banana, and cacao. Ooh. I wake up each morning with a grateful heart and an open mind. I appreciate all that I have. I say thank you for all the wonderful blessings in my life. I choose to see the silver lining in all situations.
Thanks. Final round, equal part breathing. 3, 2, 1, 2. Maybe you can go back to a time in your life where you felt truly grateful to be alive. And bring these feelings.
Hey, my beautiful family and friends, my reflections. How are we? Doing good. So I just wanted to show you what a day in the promised land looks like. And it's not even over yet, but I feel like I was very productive today. I still have to prepare the main meal or dinner, and I still have to lead a sacred new moon circle tonight. And so finding the time to do all of these spiritual activities and even edit this video that you're watching, it took a lot of energy, but it felt effortless. It's not something that is super draining because it is being done in alignment with power, the real and true creative power. And peace is power. And that is why when you reach the promised land, it's like you're plugging in to the main power source. Manifestations happen naturally and effortlessly. And there's nothing like peace of mind. I was thinking about Moses and how he led the Israelites through the wilderness, out of Egypt, and into the promised land. After understanding frequency coded intelligences and frequency bands, I see that story of Moses way differently now, and I want to break it down. In 2007, my dad and I were in business together, painting murals and faux finishes in people's homes, and we got a job at a Siddha Yoga meditation center. So this comes from an Eastern philosophy. It has a guru that is the head of it all, and it was completely foreign to me and my dad at the time. But we had been commissioned to paint a cloud mural in that meditation center. They had an open house kind of event afterward, and they had a bookstore at that center, and I wanted to buy a little souvenir for that night because it was just so special to me. And I bought a book. It was about yay big. It was very thin, and it was called I Am That. And it was written by Swami Muktananda, and he is the guru of the guru because Guru Mai was the guru at the time in 2007. So he had given meditation instructions in that small little book. And I brought it home, and that event included a brief meditation as a collective, but I read in the book that you can meditate by yourself. It is a way to bypass that middleman, aka the pastor, and get directly to source and connect in to that divine intelligence. And I was very intrigued. And so after finishing up that small little book, I did the instructions. Literally, I even set the mood. So I lit some candles in my bedroom, and I lit an incense, and I sat on the bed, and I closed my eyes, and I did the Hamsa method of breathing that I was instructed to do from that book. And shortly after starting, I got immersed like that into a whole red light realm. My body, I could not see my hand. If I put my hand in front of my face, I only saw red light all around me, and it was sparkling, and it was so vibrant and so beautiful even, and it felt warm, but not a burning temperature. But something in my brain thought that I had lit the room on fire with those candles that I lit for the meditation. So I opened my eyes, and the room was still perfectly intact, and it did not burn down. And I was amazed and freaked out. I remember running to my husband at the time and kind of getting in his lap like a little child, trembling because I felt and experienced that red light so intensely that it scared me. And I didn't know that it was possible for us humans to be able to, like a light switch, turn on another type of realm of existence, or another consciousness could just be turned on that easily. And so I was hooked. From that moment on, I became a seeker, and I read every esoteric book and every occult book that I could get my hands on, every metaphysical book, every quantum physics book, like all of it. I wanted to know how it worked that I had that experience, and I wanted to have it again because I felt like I kind of punked out by getting so scared, and I wasn't ready. And so after I realized that that was something that was a part of the human experience, being able to experience different dimensions or frequencies, I want to experience more. And so it's been almost 20 years of me just seeking and finding answers and understanding so much. And at this point, what I understand is that I had been initiated in that moment by the Namopo I consider to be my ancestors in the stars. They are ancestral spirits that come from a planet called Nigama from the Antares galaxy. And now I understand that planets and galaxies are frequency bands that descend upon us. Nigma is a red planet. It is a red frequency. And so I entered that frequency band, and us humans, we can interface with those frequency bands, and it is a consciousness that descended upon me that I was able to channel and receive as heat, warmth, red light. And it's a non-physical interface. That's why my hands and physical body seemed to disappear while I was in contact with this higher frequency form of builder intelligence. And so going back to Moses and his biblical story, when he was on Mount Sinai with that burning bush, I believe that he had contact with that same band of frequency that I did back then. And it comes from that Nigma Nomopo intelligence that appears with messages and with symbols and geometry and laws. And it's no wonder that Moses received 10 laws, 10 commandments up there on that mountain, and that he was inspired to etch it in that stone tablet. For me, I use a tablet as well, and I think that that's what led me to seeing the parallel of my own story and the biblical Moses story, because they call the iPad a tablet, right? And with my Apple Pencil, I received symbols and geometric doodles and channeled messages that are now scrolls. And when Moses came down off of that mountain, he had laws to share with the Israelites, and it helped them in an ethical kind of anchoring way while they were in that wilderness. So when the Bible says that he was in conversation with God and the burning bush, it was really a transmission of that frequency coded intelligence, which he received as 10 packets of information, 10 laws. Because the people were in bondage, they were in slavery, and they needed principles that could reorganize their mindsets. And Moses found a way to reset the collective's vibration, which helped move things out of chaos into divine order. And that is the same type of intelligence that I call the Nomopo, or the builder race. Moses tapped into that frequency at a lower octave. Now that we are in 2025, we have ascended as a collective into a octave higher than the frequency band that Moses had transmitted. And this is evident because he was chiseling on tablets, and now I'm writing on a tablet using an Apple Pencil, and everything is digital now and in the cloud. So yeah, I carry that Exodus story in my cellular memory, and it has given me a map to show me the way to transmute energy and do this energy work that leads me out of Egypt and out of the wilderness to the promised land. And now that I'm at the promised land, it's up to me to bring the rest of the collective to the promised land as well, because Egypt, it represented fear-based consciousness. That fear is what enslaves the mind. It is a low vibrating mindset that feels small, feels limited, feels trapped, feels stuck, and is too fearful of being judged, too shameful, has too much doubt to make any moves forward. And so it settles for all of the oppression by that superimposed system, the patriarchy, that seeks to just control. And when I got tired of dimming my light and feeling small, I outgrew that mental cage, that mental prison. And that is when I was initiated. But I also, even though I knew that there was more to life than they were telling me, even at church and, at school, I still had to go through all that layer shedding. So all of the conditioning, all of the traumas, and all of the false ways of thinking that I had even believed about myself had to fall away. And when they did, that is when I realized and looked around that I did it. I had no more karma to clear. I had reached the promised land. And I know when I say that I've reached the promised land, that those who are still in that third dimension where money and success are the only symbols that say you made it. I know that, people see the simple day in a life in the promised land that I showed earlier, and they think, what's so special about that? How can you say that you made it when you're not a gazillionaire yet, right? But no, it's really about the true peace of mind, because my inner world basically stopped working against me. And there were some things that money couldn't buy. Like, I didn't have to shrink myself to feel accepted anymore. I didn't have to hustle for scraps and be completely drained. I didn't have to betray myself to be loved. And there's people who have all the money and they're still miserable. They still haven't found true love. And even with what it is that I have in my bank account, which is enough, I am aligned, and that's what's most important. Because as my alignment deepens, abundance finds me, and it's not the other way around. I'm not chasing money, I am attracting abundance. My mind is clear and my body is relaxed. And you saw how I could just create from inspiration. It's not for anything else. It's not out of a fear that I have to create in order to receive some money. No, I was inspired to write a book and illustrate it. And so I felt guided to create this book. It's not coming from anything other than inspired action that I'm taking. The promised land gives you internal wealth first, and then the external wealth starts to show up. So make sure that you're coming out of that wilderness and into the promised land, and let me be your Moses. And I will leave a link to my Buy Me a Coffee, because I have lots of tools to help you get there. And so trust me, I'm going to keep making these types of videos. And so if it resonates with you, please give me a like and subscribe to the channel so that I know who my tribe is, who are my Israelites that are coming with me to the promised land. All right, so that's all that I have for this video, and until next time, peace. Love you guys.